Is it tough for you to revisit this spot where your father passed?
It always is, but I'm trying to overcome that, you know what I mean?
Dion Green was enjoying a night out with his family when he saw the gunman walk past and start firing shots. The next thing he knew, he was cradling his dying father in his arms.
Hold him, tell him to get up, let him know I love him, let him know that these are the last words you're going to be able to hear from your son.
2 years later, he's taken positive steps toward helping himself and other survivors recover, creating the Fudge Foundation in his father's name, which supports those recovering from trauma by offering support and access to resources. But still, he can't escape the emotions that haunt him, especially close to this date.
I have the problems every once in a while. I've been doing good, but they really have heightened all the way back up again. I'm not sleeping, I'm thinking, I'm replaying it even more. What if he didn't come up here with me?
Being a survivor of the Fort Hood massacre, I know how that can play out again and again.
Centerville psychologist Dr. Kathy Platoni is a retired Army colonel who saw fellow soldiers gunned down at Fort Hood in 2009. She says anniversary symptoms are normal, an adaptive response in the brain to traumatic events that are unlikely to be forgotten.
Any reminders, even in time, day, location, even conversation, can be very debilitating when these memories begin to arise and all of the emotions that go hand in hand with those memories come to the surface. It's like our brains are programmed to be on instant replay.
Platoni continues to counsel police officers and firefighter EMTs who responded to the mass shooting, and even those who didn't.
I think for a lot of us who weren't on duty that night, there's the question of what could I have done?
Officer Jared Dobney was with Dayton PD when he was assigned to provide comfort and security to victims' families at the convention center the next day. He soon took on an informal role of helping his fellow officers, some of whom were fresh off their field training when they got to the Oregon District that night.
I talked to a guy who it was his 4th day riding alone, and he responded to a mass shooting.
Dobney realized that the men and women in uniform were suffering too.
It was a lot of heartbreak.
He went with them to a peer support meeting where they shared how they'd quickly gone into the mode of caring for victims, applying tourniquets and rushing wounded to the hospital.
A lot of the emotions that they were showing was that sadness, that fear that they hadn't been able to save everyone's lives, and also just the heartbreak of seeing so many people grievously injured or killed right in front of them. So it was a lot for them to process from an emotional level.
And it's why Platoni says it's important for everyone traumatized that night to talk about it.
Have a gathering, talk to your family, talk to your friends, express what it is that you're experiencing. There's no need to hold on to that and stuff it under the surface. Talk about it.
Back on East 5th Street, Dion Green told me his Fudge Foundation organized this evening's memorial for everyone who wants to come together to remember those who died and support those still hurting.
It's to create a safe place, but it's also for the community, for friends to empower, to lean on each other's shoulder, to cry, to love one another, to meet your community fellows and just be here and uplift, because this can happen to any of us.